See how that 2x6 is going to be? Like that. And that's going to hold some of the weight there, and it's going to transfer it down there. And this is just a scrap piece. It's not in there all the way. It was just a piece I had, and I kind of held it up there at about the angle that I wanted. And I wanted the bottom of this to kind of coincide with the tip of that, and then I'll cut a flat bit on it. And Douglas fir, you're not supposed to take Douglas fir and set it directly on concrete. You're just not supposed to do that. So what I'll end up doing is I'll probably take a block of redwood, and I've got a few. See, here's some redwood right here. And then here's another piece that I took out. And I can cut a nice little piece off of that, and I can just use that as a resting spot on here. I'll cut it, you know, maybe 8 inches long or something, and however wide this is, 2 inches, 2.5 inches wide, put it in there, and I might put liquid nails on it, construction adhesive, and put it down there, and then this will just rest on top of it. But I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm gonna try to find the angles with this, and see, I can just take this board here, and I can measure my tape measure all the way from the point way up there to where it hits. And I figured, I ran my tape measure up, and I got a pencil mark there, and it's about 1 inch shy of this. So I've got to measure from the bottom up and 1 inch over, you know, 1 inch over, and to get this angle. And I can do that by just measuring. And then I can do the same thing here as I continue it over to there. I can get it, and then I can get this point down to there, and then I can measure from here to the inside corner and transfer marks, and then I'll get it close enough. Then I can put it up here. I can look at it. I can then shave it just slightly, whatever I need to do. And then once I get it exactly how I want it, it's not going to set down all the way. I'll just have to tack it. I'll have to tack it back up. And then however it is, then I'll put this down at the bottom and hold it. If it's like that, then I'll mark it. You know, if it's there, if it's there, if it's up like that, however it is, I'll then be able to mark it, make one last cut, and then the little piece of redwood would be in here, and I'm gonna rip it lengthwise so it doesn't want to just crack off. I'm not gonna just take a 2x6 bit and shave it off. I'm gonna cut it 8 inches long or whatever, and then rip it down so it's a nice long piece that's not gonna split. And then I can set it in there. This is going to rest down on top of it. And I don't even have to nail it to the bottom. I can just put a little clip on there so that the weight is setting on top of here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some screws in it to attach it to the OSB plywood. And then there's a 2x6 behind there. Do you remember? There's a flat 2x6. Remember, from this edge over, there's a flat 2x6. So then I'll be able to put at least 4 screws in there, and then as it comes up, I'll be able to get some screws in here. And I don't know, at that point I can also come out here and put some screws in there. I can put some liquid nail up in there too before I attach that one, and that will be all nice and solid. I won't even have to attach that to my stringer, so to speak, because my 2x8 here is attached to the stringer already, and I've got everything attached. So this will all bond together. So does this really have to be cut? It doesn't have to be cut exactly perfect up there either, okay? But I want to get it up far enough so I can get enough meat on, able to put, you know, maybe 3 screws in it or something. And I would like to get it tight, but if I don't get it exactly 100% tight, I guess that'll be okay. But the tighter I get this, probably the better, you know. So I'm gonna do the best I can measuring this, and I may have to take a couple cuts at it, but I'll get it and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. And see, I figured I'd put this up first. That way, if I want to come back and put, you know, once I screw this from this side, I might want to come back and put a couple more screws here before I sandwich that and put this piece up here as a final go. And then once I do that, I could also put a clip here, see, down here, one of those the heavy clips that I have, you know, the heavy type of clip, like that one I put in. See there, that one? I could put right here, because this is going to stick out further, and the clip will hold in there, and that'll help too. So everything I do there, once I get this whole thing complete, all of that weight will be transferred on down there. And so that's going to help. That's going to overall help all this. Could I leave this out? Yeah, probably. But I don't like the fact that they tried to spooge this on here like that. That's a no-no. You know, they should have had something, but they didn't know what else to do. They weren't smart enough, I guess, to figure out, hey, just put a diagonal brace there too. You're going to put that and do everything you did. Go the extra mile and put that there too, and be done with it. But they didn't, and so now I am. Now could I leave that 2x6? That was that piece that really doesn't fit. Could I leave it like that and just put another screw here, one down there, just leave this and put a couple more screws up there and be done with it? Yeah, I probably could, you know. But going the extra bit and making it right is what I really want to do, and making it fit and really having this transfer the load down here. But in reality, we got the 2x6 behind here. It goes down, it's attached to the bottom plate. The bottom plate is bolted down to the concrete footing or the stem wall and this section right here. And so that's really close enough, but I would feel so much better to set it actually down on here like it's supposed to. Okay, you decide. If you were going to have this inspected though, an inspector would never buy this. Okay, he would want to see it all the way up there and attached properly and done exactly how I told you I was going to do it. All right, so you be the judge on how you're going to do it. I'm just telling you what's right and what's not really right. Wow, 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 that was tricky. I had to put my square up here, right there, and mark that, and then I could measure from there up to then connect those two to see what that angle was. And I think it was 5, and I measured, yeah, see, I measured that 5. And so I did that on my other board, measured up 5 off of a square line, so I got that angle. Then I could measure from there up on the back side. Oh, geez. At that point, up to there, and then from there up, and from here across, and then there was a 1 inch over. 6 3/4. And so I got the angle. I measured this 6 3/4, whatever. Made sure I had 1 inch there. And then I measured from there down. I had to get that. Good Lord. Got back up here. And then I ran my tape measure from here on up until it hit. Measured from that point all the way down. Took a scrap, continued that line over to there, measured to there, transferred it over to there, and then measured from there down, and measured at the bottom, the short point. And then I went all the way up to the top again, and then measured to the inside point, and I got that, and then I connected the lines. And I think I'm going to be pretty close. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to be my first go at it, and then I can see what I have to do to change it a little bit, because like I say, I don't care if I got a little bit of slop there, because I can play with that a little bit, because I've still got that piece of redwood to put in there. After I get it figured exactly right, then I'll set it there on top, or I'll set it exactly where I want it, and then I'll hold the piece of redwood up against it, mark the bottom of it. If it's not that exact line, if it's up a little bit, I'll mark it, and then I'll cut it so that this is 1.5 inches short from the concrete. Okay, it'll go. Ooh. Okay, I put it. I don't have it attached yet. This is my first go, and I did pretty good. Look at that. See how that had to go up, and the way I had it held, this went up to here and then flat for an inch, and then down here. See, I don't have it perfect, do I? Not by a long shot, but I don't mind this one being off. And then see, that bottom's going to be perfect once I take the redwood block, and I'm going to put it like that and set it on there exactly how I want it. Let's say it's like that, and then I would mark it. Okay, and I would take it out and I would cut it on that line, and that's going to fit perfect on top of the redwood. Okay, so that's my next step. I've got to cut my redwood and set it down there, score it, cut it exactly. And when I put it back down on here, this is going to fit perfectly tight right down on top of the redwood. That'll give me my bottom section. I won't have the Douglas fir down on top of the concrete, and then I'm not going to toenail it or anything down to the block. I'm just going to set it on the block. Okay, and then I'll probably put some 2 screws like that, and maybe a couple down like that, 4 screws here, and the weights down here, and some of the weights being taken up on that 2x6 that's going up there. Yeah, that's going to be nice. That is going to be primo. It's just, you see how this is? It's not perfectly tight there. I don't know what happened there. It's because this edge apparently is not, that's what it is. It's not perfect with this outside corner. I wanted to put it flush with this outside corner on down. I would have had to have moved this over 3/4 of an inch or so, and then it would be setting on this. And I didn't want it set on this. I wanted it set down there. So that meant it's off by this much. See? And that's what's keeping it slightly out like that. But that's okay. You know, once I get it all attached, I'll put some screws in here too, and then I'll put some screws from this side. I may have to use some long screws there, right? Some longer screws, and then I'll put the 2x8 up last over here, and then I'll put one of those clips, boom, boom, from here up, You'll see. All right, almost got her.